Um, and that's the same thing goes with here. It's a story. Is I defined who Jodie was, what choices she made, and by extension, I defined who Aiden was. Like how much Aiden respected who Jodie was, and how much Aiden respected and um respected what Jodie wanted too. You know, um, a lot of people were getting upset that I wasn't making Aiden, you know, that I was trying to make Aiden seem like Jodie had control over Aiden. And I've explained this before. I am aware that Jodie does not control Aiden. I'm perfectly aware of that. But I think that I mean, they're siblings. Is Aiden is her brother. And so, you know, he is looking out for Jodie and wants what's best for Jodie. And yes, sometimes he gets jealous of Jodie, but I think there's a point in time where Aiden has understood that he needs to take Jodie's, thoughts and behavior in consideration too. And that's why I made Aiden more um, restrained, because even a caged lion, as Jody put it, even a caged lion can learn restraint when you need to. You know, I had I mean I was disappointed in Jody and Aiden when they were killing off the SWAT team, and the reason I was disappointed in them is because I felt like Aiden had the power to handle the situation in a different way. Yes, I understood that Aiden was doing everything in his power to protect Jody. I understood that completely. He wasn't he was willing to kill other people to protect Jody. Innocent people who were only trying to do their job to protect Jody. I get that. But it reminds me of Terminator 2. It reminds me of Terminator 2, where you had Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, the T-800, he was programmed to protect John Connor at all costs. And this is a machine. This is a machine who, he does what he's programmed to do, and he is going to protect, you know, he was programmed to protect John Connor no matter what, even if it means killing innocent people. And John Connor taught the T-800 that you can still protect me. You can still protect me without having to kill people. Kill people as a last resort, but if there's another way, you can. And he did. The T-800, there was that awesome scene. I'm trying not to give away too much, but I mean, the T-800 showed that he understood the value of life. That was the whole point of that movie, is that he understood the value of life. And even though he had this program to protect John Connor at all costs, he realized that he could do it without having to kill people. And so that was my reasoning behind being upset at Jody and Aiden. But I understood. I got it. I understood why they did what they had to do. I get it. I don't blame them for that. Um, Speaking of my decisions actually affecting things, I did find out after the fact. I found out after I had already had my date with Ryan, that having the ability to sleep with Ryan can be very tricky, and can be very um, not difficult, but hard for people to get in their first playthrough. For those of you who didn't know, um, one of the prerequisites of sleeping with Ryan was that you had to be caught during that chapter where Jodie was trying to go out, like just like other girls, I think was the chapter. You had to be caught, and I predict I predict that 90% of players um, did not get caught on purpose. Maybe they got caught on accident by accident, but I'd like to believe 9 out of 10 players at least did not get caught on purpose. And probably 90% of them ended up actually going out, actually doing everything in their power to going out, because I think that's how I think that's how most players would have handled that situation, because they want to see everything. But by me not going out, it allowed me to take that relationship with Ryan to the next level. And so I'm feeling so happy because that only reinforced that I did the right I did the right thing by sticking to my decision. I could have easily, gone back and changed my mind, but no, I stuck with my decision. I stick to my guns, and I was willing to accept the consequences of that decision, and I got rewarded for it. I got rewarded for it. I might have, by not by getting forcing Jody to get caught because she felt guilty. That's why she got caught. She felt guilty and she couldn't go through with it. By doing that, it may have closed me off to a certain content in that episode, but in the long run, it opened the door. It opened the door to an opportunity that I would otherwise not have gotten, which I would have wanted to. I would have wanted Jody to have been able um, to be able to take that step with Ryan eventually. I felt like that was the only opportunity that we'd be able to in this game while playing the game. I would have wanted them to be able to take that step if they truly love each other and care about each other. Granted, they only, they kind of, that was sort of like their first date, but it's a video game. It's okay. It's a video game. Um, so, yeah, that to me made me feel really good. That because I stuck to my guns, it allowed me to have the opportunity with Ryan that I otherwise wouldn't have. So again, I'm sorry for all those people who were really angry and upset at me for allowing myself to get caught, but I definitely don't regret it. In fact, quite the opposite. I am glad that I did what I did. Um, some of you also might be a little upset or that I ended up choosing Ryan over Jay. Again, I understand, but yes, I know that Ryan throughout the story has been a bit of a jerk face, but you know, he he was following orders. That's what makes him a good agent or a good soldier. A good soldier takes orders without question. That's what makes a good soldier. It doesn't necessarily make you a good person. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say that. It doesn't necessarily make you the most moralistically ideal person, I guess is what I wanted to say. Moralistically ideal, which can be debated what that means. We can debate forever about morals and values and whatever. Like, I'm not getting into that. But in my head, what in my head I consider to be moralistically ideal. Um, and but yeah, a soldier does what he's told without question. And I can't blame Ryan necessarily for that, but I do applaud people who are able to question when things like what Jody had to do with the president, which we thought was the warlord. Like, I applaud people who at least take a step back and question those kind of things when their orders just don't sit well with them. Um, but yeah, Ryan's biggest mistake was lying to her. He should not have lied to her. I admit that. But you know what? Ryan's not perfect, and neither is Jody or Aiden. Jody is flawed. Aiden's flawed. Who isn't, really? No, who isn't flawed? Jody's flawed. Aiden's flawed. Um, you know, Ryan's flawed. Every single one of those three people effed up at some point in this game. All three of them did. So, how can I expect for Jody and Aiden to get forgiveness from people if they aren't able to forgive Ryan? Um, I really liked Ryan a lot for Jody, even more so than Corey. I mean, for Corey, Corey was very sweet, and I think that if given the opportunity for her to spend more time with Corey, then maybe my influence could have been swayed in a different direction. But having Jodie with Ryan just made a lot of sense because they've been through so much together. They were at the climax. I was gonna say Jodie and Ryan were at the climax together. I did not mean to say it in that way. But and you know, I think that I definitely was very you saw how happy I was with that ending. You saw definitely how much I was happy with the Ryan ending. But yeah, I this game I thought was very well done. And it really makes you think about the other world beyond. Um, you know, some of you might not believe in the beyond. I do. I do believe in the beyond. I personally would like to believe that this isn't it. You know, life is great and can be also be very horrible. But I'd like to believe that there's more to our existence than just this. I'd like to believe that there is a beyond. Maybe some of you might think that's a very naive or very overly optimistic thing to believe, but what's the harm in that? What's the harm in me being optimistic or me believing in that? Like, if it doesn't bother you, especially. If it makes me happy and it gives me hope for, you know, for my day to day, I don't think it does any harm. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm curious as to how many people in their first playthrough chose the beyond over life. Um, I just felt I sympathized with Nathan. I got why he turned crazy at the end. I feel like it was a little dramatic because he just seemed so stable and all of a sudden he just went. But maybe over the years, because I mean Jodie had been away from Nathan for a while over the years, and you know yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the game. So, whew, thanks again so much, guys, for watching this Let's Play. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that my ogling over over the boys, over the guys in this game didn't annoy you too much. I try not to do it too much. It's kind of hard with games like this. Um, But yeah, I can't wait to see what Quantic Dream does next. I would love to do a Heavy Rain Let's Play at some point, even though I've already played it before, but I love the game so much, and one of these days I might do that. I might do Indigo Prophecy, because I never have played it, and I thought it would be cool for me to play it blind, even though I was told it's not nearly as good as Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, but you know, we'll give it a try. Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for not spoiling anything for me during this playthrough. For those of you who were making it a point to not spoil anything, I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for being patient with me with all of the horrible controls and for being patient with me for the decisions that I ended up making throughout this game. I'm happy with the decisions I made, and I think that's the important thing. I think that's really what matters, is whether or not I'm happy with the decisions. And I love the ending that I got for Jodie. I really do. So, all right, folks. Until next time, love yourselves and love each other.